Welcome to We Adventure Northwest, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm got the intern over here. So we haven't been on for a while, but now we're back, right?
It's been a minute. Yep.
So
We have a new studio set up.
we do. We set it up a little differently. Hopefully it works out great. We'll soon
We'll
see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So today I think we want to talk about. We got him.
Very good.
Yeah. So
So today,
yeah.
what are we talking about?
I think we should talk about. We took a trip to Baja.
We did take a trip to Baja without the bikes.
We did, but how did this come about? I guess we should talk a little bit about that.
Like an introduction.
An introduction to
introductions. In case this is the first time you've tuned into the podcast, we should probably do that, right?
Oh yeah,
like
probably.
who you are, who I am, what we do.
Yeah. So I'm I just kind of travel around, ride my dirt bikes and my
African twin.
yeah, my adventure bike. I have lots of adventures on that, and just daily adventures, really, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, and then we got the intern.
Hello.
So
there we have
that
it.
was it.
That's
her
the whole
introduction.
So originally, how many years have you been going down to Baja to do the Baja 1000 with Honda, Team Honda?
2018 was my first year.
And it is now 2025, and every year I'm like, where is this at? Where did you go? What did you do? Who is that? Where was that at? And so in 2025...
No,
2024?
2024, we went... no.
No, it was January of 2025 that we went.
It was, because it was your birthday.
Yeah, it was for my birthday. We went to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico.
Yeah.
Had an amazing time. And I think we got back from that, and I was like, ooh, you know what? I'm not vacationed out yet. Like, I could use another vacation.
Well, I think the subject came up that, it was why we were down there, I want to say, because we were doing the family thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we were there with family.
We had kind of started out as we were just going to do a you and I thing down there, and then it turned into a family thing. And then we were still thinking maybe we should do
an us thing.
Just an us thing down in Mexico.
Yes.
So
we started planning it, and I think one of the biggest things was we were going to go along the Baja Trail and see as much of what you do when you go down to support the team, so that when you talk about it, either on the podcast or when you get back, I kind of have an idea of where things are and what you experience.
Yeah, and I think why we were also discussing this is when we go down with the family and stuff, there's a lot of it's very touristy oriented, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
We stay at
all inclusive. You're well taken care of.
Yeah, you have all you can eat, all you can drink.
Yeah, you have all the amenities.
Covered. You have a beach, you have pools. Yeah, people are amazing.
You have everything you could ask for.
Yeah.
But I've been going down for years and not in the tourist side of it, and I've always wanted you to experience that, because I will tell you right now,
I think it's comparable when we lived in Hawaii. Like, the tourist attractions that you do in Hawaii are different than the things you do when you live there. Like, when you're a local, you do different things. Yeah. So I think for you, it maybe was that I want you to experience the real Mexico. Like, the Mexico that is not tourist... I don't want to say friendly, because it was friendly, but tourist driven. Would that be a good way to put it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So not all inclusive, not all at a hotel, but actual.
I wanted you to experience and I want you guys to experience also the Mexico that's
authentic.
It's like every day. It's not a vacation. It's
like our
every
daily
day.
Lives
it's
are happening. You get to experience that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I guess that's what I wanted to show you.
So when we started planning this adventure, there were a couple of things that were brought up ahead of time, like maybe some ill-conceived people in one of the places that we were going to go. So we were aware before we left that we may have to detour. We may have to change our plans mid-vacation.
Yeah, because there was a warning put out that there was some activity in one of the towns we were going to planned on.
Right.
That was could be an unsafe situation. And you can get that here, though.
Well, and we were kind of in the midst of like political things happening between the United States and Mexico that we were like, okay.
It was an election year.
Yeah. Are we good to go? Are people going to be friendly towards us? Should we not go? But in the end, we decided that people are people and we're going to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that, and we'll talk more about that as we get through the adventure, like the media versus reality, like what we hear and what we're told versus what you and I experienced while we were there.
Yeah, because I think what you see on TikTok and Instagram and just your local or national news is a lot different than what you experienced down there.
I would agree. Yeah. But I did go down with a little bit of apprehension, a little bit of like awareness. I guess awareness is a good word.
I would say that would be a good word too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just lost my train of thought.
So did I. I didn't know what you were doing.
Oh, I was just telling you the cameras can shake. Shaky cameras.
Oh, I thought you meant my hands.
No.
I think it's because I might have my feet on the table. Let me scooch back.
There you go. Like I said, we haven't been in the studio for a while.
Yeah, I haven't found my comfort zone in the bar.
You gotta get back into the groove.
Yeah. So when we first started talking about going to Mexico together, the original thought was we would go to all the places that you go when you're supporting the teams.
Yes.
And then we talked about, how are we going to get there? And we have roughly 3 choices, right?
And when she says the team, so if you guys want to check that out too, you can check it out on Instagram and all that, YouTube. But it's the SLR 7X team, Honda. So that's who she's referring to.
Yeah, because you support them.
Very good guys.
Yeah.
Very good people.
You go down with a team and you're a pit crew and you support them along the Baja route.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you get back, I'm like, wait a minute, where is this? What is this? Where did you go? The mill? The what? The who? So the goal for this adventure was to take me to all of those places. And I don't know that we had a discussion ever that we would take the Africa Twin and ride 2 up, because that is a lot of miles. And
that is a lot of miles.
I don't know that I could do that in the time that we were allotted, like the vacation time that I took off.
I want to say from here to Ensenada is probably 1,200 miles ish.
Ouch.
It's at least 1,000 for sure.
Every 180 miles, I would have to get off and like stretch and have a snack.
Yeah, so
I don't think we would have made it in the allotted time.
That's a long route on a bike.
However, we did decide to take the Toyota FJ, and I will tell you, her gas tank is pretty slim. Like, we were making a lot of fuel stops.
It is. You almost feel like an electric vehicle in that thing, where you have that anxiety. That mileage anxiety. We had the same thing, anxiety in that little thing.
Especially with the bottom end going much faster than the top end, and it was like, how much fuel do you have left? And you're like, I'm at a quarter tank. I'm like, babe, that is like 50 miles.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like a 19-gallon tank on that thing. I want to say,
it's just a baby.
It only gets maybe 12 to 18 miles a gallon on a good day.
We'll talk about the roads, because it wasn't getting 18 miles an hour.
Oh gosh, no,
or
not at all.
18 miles a gallon on the roads that we were on, for sure.
Not at all.
So we did decide to take the FJ, and we did decide to drive from our house down to Ensenada, and then we had you had a route planned out from there that we're going to talk about. Yeah. But yeah, it was an adventure just getting to the border.
Yes.
Like we had
some extra activities that we had planned. Those are a whole nother podcast. But you know, it was a lot of miles. We saw some family while we were down there. Someone got food poisoning, which comes into the whole play of this thing.
Which I never get sick, knock on wood. Yeah. I am like the Wolverine. Like, I don't catch anything. So the fact that I got food poisoning, I was down and out. You were hurting. Which was a bummer, because there was so much great food that I got to marginally try. Yes. Like, just dabble in. Yeah. So I think in the future we're going to have another Baja adventure, because there's a few things we go through this, you'll see that we missed some opportunities that Wes really wanted to do. So I definitely owe him another adventure in the FJ. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I'm excited to kind of get into it. We've done like the preview and stuff. To just catch you up, we've driven from the house to the border. We are at the border of Mexico, and
we started in, we're going to go in through the border at Tijuana. So you're in San Diego.
Right.
And so I figured, hence the little peanut tank on this FJ, we better get fuel, right?
Yes.
So
we
fill up with fuel, and then at our favorite gas station, which is right next to where we exchange dollars into pesos.
Right.
And I think that was your first time ever doing the exchange with any kind of cash, right?
Yeah, I've never exchanged money.
Yeah, because you definitely want to have the right. I mean, you can
local currency.
You can take dollar bills down there all you want, and which is fine. Yeah, but if you take the local currency down there, it's a great way to learn about the local currency.
Yes.
Are you getting a better deal using the local currency versus U.S. dollars? You got to figure into that.
It took me a few days to get familiar with the currency, because it was like 500 pesos, and I'm in my head, I'm like, $500, and you're like, no, 500 pesos is not 500 US dollars. Yeah. But in my mind, I was like, oh, dollar for dollar, so 1 peso is $1, 5 pesos is $5, and you're like, no, I need to break you of that, because you're going to think we are going to go through our entire and that's the other thing. So we spent 9 days.
Yeah, it's quite a while down there.
9 days in Mexico, and we're just two people. We cashed in how many US dollars?
I think we went down there. I want to say we only did maybe $1,000 in cash.
Okay, so we exchanged that at the border, and then
and you have to remember that I had made already some arrangements on lodging.
Oh, hotels.
So that they'd already been paid for.
Yeah.
But
this
the
was
ones
mostly fuel and food.
Yes. Yeah. But the ones that we didn't, we had to pay for, and they'll charge you in pesos on your credit card, just so you know. Mm-hmm. And then your bank,
depending on your bank, they'll charge you.
I believe your bank charges you to convert it. So remember that when you're using your credit card down there. Also, that's a good lesson.
Yeah, for sure. So we get across, we get our money, and then it is like...
Which was easy. Which is
so easy. It's a drive-through.
It's just a
they
drive-through.
Ask for your passport. They ask what you're doing. They ask where you got your money from.
Yep. They just want to ask you a few questions, which I think are all.
What are you doing in Mexico? Yep. You know, and we're like vacationing. Yeah. And I think it helped too along the way because we took the FJ. Yeah. And it is We Adventure podcast.
It's stickered up.
Marketed. Yeah. Like it's marketed up. So it doesn't matter where you're looking at the vehicle. It says we do a podcast. We're an adventure team. So I think that was also helpful that they were like, okay, yeah, we see what you're doing here. We don't think you're doing anything, you know, that you shouldn't be. So at that point, when we entered.
So yeah, then we're getting in the line to get into Mexico and cross the border. And do you remember what I told you?
Was it about the wall?
No.
Oh.
I said, don't make eye contact. Just look straight ahead and we'll just drive through.
Don't look guilty.
Yeah. I said, we'll just
look
go
straight ahead. And I'm like,
and if we get waved over, we'll cross that bridge. Yeah. But
because I was nervous. I've never crossed a border before, so I didn't know what to expect.
And she's got her passports out,
I'm ready to go.
And it's like ready, and it's like no, it doesn't.
I'm practicing the tiny amount.
I'll be honest with you, it doesn't work that
mind.
way. You drive across, it's pretty much you just drive across,
and that's exactly what it was.
And we just went across and drove through, and then got on the highway to
that was a little confusing because you were like look for this turn and this roundabout and this like exit and you were like, oh, we should have taken the other one.
No, I think that was on our way out.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, no, going in is pretty easy. It's you go through, and then for our way is you just immediately go right, go up, and then you're next to the wall.
So should we talk about the wall?
It's kind of cool. So if you guys have never seen the wall, I know some of you have, and there's a big majority that have never seen the wall that they talk about on
all the time. Like
on the news.
Covers that all the time.
And it's really not that big of a deal, but it's.
I guess when I pictured
it's pretty
the wall,
big.
I pictured like Berlin or the Wall of China.
No.
Like I imagined this really uninviting, horrible thing.
But it is a big steel wall with in between.
Intimidating.
There's Mexico and then the U.S. and then you have like border patrol in between, and you can see the border patrol over there, and it's this huge wall, and it's all big steel. It's rusty.
Yeah.
But it's I hate to say it, it's almost kind of like art too.
Yeah, it wasn't something that I looked at and I was like, oh my God, this is really offensive. Yeah. And it's blocking the whole view of the United States. Yeah. Like we're separating everyone from everyone else.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was more of a slat work.
Yeah.
Like you could still see through it.
Yes.
I don't know. For the first time seeing it, I guess I wasn't expecting that.
And I think like I was telling you earlier, the difference between like the wall that you see in Mexico versus the U.S. Canadian is U.S. Canadian looks like they just took a brush hog and just made a line
right
in between, and that's all it is. It's brush hogged
mowed
down, and it's just
it's like a power line road.
Yeah, exactly. But Mexico has that big, huge wall, and it goes all the way down to the ocean. Yeah, and into the ocean a little bit. And so
it was intimidating, but it was different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like razor wire. It wasn't. It was
kind of cool.
It
and you drive right next to it.
Next to it, like you could put your hand out of the car window and touch it. Try that again.
Yeah,
because it's slatted.
Yeah, and then we got through that, which you only see a small part of it, maybe a couple miles. 3 or 4 miles.
It wasn't
it's not that far. And then before you start turning out of Tijuana, and then we turn down south to Ensenada.
So Tijuana, I've never been.
Oh yeah, what did you think of Tijuana?
I didn't really have an opinion other than I was surprised once we got into Mexico, I guess what I expected was the bright, vivid colors and like when I think
like you see on the travel channels.
Or when you buy like plates and bowls and they're inspired by that culture, Mexico.
Yeah.
They're bright and they're vivid, and everything there was white. Like I thought of Santorini, Greece. I didn't think of Mexico.
Yeah.
Everything was white and beige, and I was like,
yeah,
where are all these colors that I'm thinking of? And you're like, well, wait. Like the further in we get, and the further
you get a little bit of it.
Yes.
It's not. And maybe mainland Mexico is more that way. But Baja just really isn't that. Oh, we got a cat.
Hello, we have a guest. This is Stark.
Hi,
buddy.
Come here, bud. Oh, I know.
You're probably getting cut out of the podcast, buddy.
I know. He just needs a place to sit.
He's just a baby.
But
So yeah, that was surprising to me. The other thing that was surprising, because we should probably do a little bit of a Wayne's World rewind.
Okay.
Doodly-doo, where you said the roads are really different.
Oh, they're very different
compared to the U.S. So I was expecting once we got across the border that it was going to be like.
Well, here, I love to listen now, after I've been down there so much, I love to listen to people just bitch and moan about our streets and roads up here. Because you've not... Here.
No.
You haven't seen anything.
No.
Really? No.
But when we got into Tijuana and we're traveling, the roads are pristine. They're like U.S. roads. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you're like, no, the money that was spent to open trades was spent on transportation.
Yes.
So part of that was the road system, the roadway.
The harbors and
and
so
then
that
the road
made
more
system.
Sense that it was well maintained. But we passed. Well,
but it's also got some tolls on it too, where you have to still
tolls.
pay. Yeah.
Where was that?
You don't have to whisper. We're good.
Where was that place that was like the scary place? Was that in Tijuana or was that someplace else? And if it wasn't in Tijuana, can we talk about it later?
Was it the the Dusk to Dawn?
Yes.
The
Devil's
House, which we have no idea what it is, but if anybody knows, it's on the way. It's in between Tijuana and Ensenada. It's down on the coast.
It is scary.
It's great. It is scary. If you've ever seen the movie Dusk to Dawn, that it will remind you of that.
I have 100%. Never seen that movie, but if you have read Haunting Adeline and you think of the haunted house.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, just...
It's scary. It's
like,
scary
we drove by it and Wes was like, hey, check that out. I'm like, oh, what is that? We did not stop, for the record.
No.
I don't think I would have enjoyed that. A little bit maybe, but probably not a lot. So we just kept driving. But that was kind of a spot where you're like, hey, look, we always da-da-da-da-da. It's kind of different. Yeah. It stuck out.
Yeah. And then that was your first experience of toll roads, too.
Yeah, I've never... Although I did get 100 scam messages from you owe a toll from California because we drove through California. I tell ya.
Thanks, California.
Come on, you guys. I don't think it's California. I just think it's scammers taking advantage of people. Also, I don't remember how much the tolls were, but they were coinage.
I want to say they were like...
$2.50 US dollars?
No.
250 pesos?
Pesos.
I'm still confused.
So, yeah.
So they weren't much, and they weren't any big deal. Like, we just went into them, they had a green light, we paid our toll, we drove on, no big deal. No big deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a checkpoint. That comes later.
Yeah, and if you know a little bit of Spanish, you can throw it out there to them. But if you know English, too, I mean, most of them are fine.
We are not sponsored, but I'm going to tell you, if you want to learn a different language, another language, Duolingo is a great app that you can download for free.
Yeah.
There's it has helped a lot since we've been back.
Yeah, definitely helps.
I think we both realized if we are going to be adventuring in another country, we need to learn the language. Now, we're gonna talk more about that in future episodes.
Yeah, because there is a language barrier.
There is. Did I ever feel unsafe by it? No.
No.
Did I ever feel unsafe on this trip? One time. That's it. We'll talk about it. But that was my own in my head. In my head.
Yeah, I think that was your...
That
was my... I caused that a little bit of that, and then...
A little bit?
And then... I'm used to being down there, so I kind of took it for granted.
You did.
And so we'll get to that.
We'll get to that
in another episode.
We'll get to that. So, speaking of we'll get to that, the next episode that we're going to be talking about is arriving.
Is getting into Ensenada, right?
Is getting into Ensenada, and you won't want to miss that episode. There's
so what did you think? Getting back to the ocean views and all that, your first impression. You kind of gave your first impression of Tijuana, but what was your first impression of just? I mean, they have a beautiful coastline, and you just drive down the coast.
It didn't seem like I was in a foreign country. Like when we entered Mexico, after we got through border, it didn't feel any different to me. Like I didn't feel apprehensive or unsafe or anxious. None of that. Like we were just driving. Now, Tijuana, I had heard a lot of things from my brother and other people that have gone there. I've never been to Tijuana, so I had that picture of what it is, but we didn't drive through Tijuana. We drove around Tijuana. Like we didn't go down into Tijuana. We didn't experience any of that.
And I think a lot of those stories are the bar scenes too, where they go down, where they just go across the border just to party, and I think you get a lot of stories from that.
Yeah.
But that's not what we were doing.
No.
We were going down there to just mingle with the local people.
Yeah.
To see the sights.
Wait, did we stop in Tijuana?
And no, we just drove through it.
Yeah.
But it was, the drive down is, it's great. It's just like you're going through Southern California to me.
Yeah.
And the buildings the construction's a little bit different because you see a lot of rebar coming out the top.
Any of that because I haven't been down years in a row. But you said they've been working on that skyscraper for the last.
There's a bunch of hotels down there that they've been working on for years and years and years, and they just don't get built. But there's a lot of nice homes down there. I think a lot of people just go down there and build, and that's kind of their second home and vacation home is. Because it's beautiful weather.
We're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah, for sure.
There was one place that we went that I'm sold. Like,
buy
a house there, I'm figuring out how to get the grandchildren down. Like,
for sure.
This is a huge plus. Yeah.
But the drive down to Ensenada and seeing the ocean, and it's just beautiful.
It's very much what you would imagine going to.
It's a lot of high cliffs too. I mean, you're on you're quite a ways above the ocean because it's pretty much high.
Well,
cliffs.
And that's how we saw the fish farms. Like we saw those huge round nets in the ocean, and you said, "Oh yeah, they're farming fish in there." And I'm like, "Oh." So when they say farm fished in the ocean, that is where they come from.
It's in a pen.
That was good to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're about to get into Ensenada,
which is episode 2.
So I think we'll just cut it here.
Okay.
And we'll go on to episode number 2 for you.
Stay tuned, you guys. You are not going to want to miss this.
Yeah.
And if you have been planning a trip to Mexico and you're apprehensive on whether or not you want to go to an all-inclusive or just go adventuring, I highly recommend both. But the adventuring part of it
Yeah, and if I can just say a little bit about, if you watch some of the travel videos that are on YouTube, where they're crossing the border and going into Baja, and you've got a couple different places you can cross the border.
Yes.
They're pretty sincere. They're pretty spot on. Where it's like, it's not a big deal. It's not what people are thinking. It's not what the media is telling us. No. It's very friendly. It's very.
They're very
the
welcoming.
Food is, oh my gosh,
We're
off
gonna
the
get
hook.
to food.
Yeah. So
we haven't hit food yet.
Yeah.
We'll
get
there.
Get to food. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that said, let's go to let's just kill this one here and go right to episode 2 on this.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
You guys.
See you later.
Bye.